When we look at a pristine forest or a herd of elk, we often see a natural, untouched world. But the reality is that the wildlife that we cherish today, like white-tailed deer, wild turkeys, or the wood duck, were on the brink of extinction just over a century ago. The recovery of these species was not accidental. It was driven by a group of people often misunderstood by the general public. These people are hunters. My name is Jared Alexander, and today I'm here to argue that regulated hunting is not just a recreational pastime, but it is a vital part of U.S. wildlife conservation. Without hunting, our wildlife management funding would collapse, ecosystems would fall out of balance, and habitat loss would accelerate. Many believe that government taxes pay for wildlife conservation. That is mostly incorrect. The primary funding comes from the users, like hunters and anglers, through a user-pays public benefit system. Hunters actually requested a federal excise tax on firearms, ammunition, and archery equipment. This tax has generated over $17 billion for conservation since its inception. Hunters spend over $1 billion annually on hunting license, tags, and permits. Combined, hunters generate more than $1.6 billion a year for state wildlife agencies. These funds don't just help game species, they manage wetlands for migratory birds, they restore habitats for endangered species, and purchase public lands that all Americans enjoy. When you support hunting, you are funding the protection of nearly 6 million acres of habitat through the federal duck stamp program alone. Beyond money, hunting is necessary for habitat stewardship. In many areas, apex predators like wolves, cougars, and bears have been reduced or eliminated due to human expansion. Without these predators, prey populations, particularly deer, can grow beyond the environment's ability to support them. This limit is known as the carrying capacity. And growing outside of the carrying capacity leads to starvation and disease and habitat degradation. Overcrowded herds can fall prey to disease like the chronic wasting disease, or CWD. Overbrowsing by deer can kill young trees and destroy undergrowth, reducing the biodiversity for songbirds and other species. Controlled hunting steps in as an essential mechanism for population control. It keeps ecosystems in balance, ensuring that resources are available for all species, not just the overabundant ones. Furthermore, hunters are on the front lines of research, providing crucial biological examples like teeth, tissues, and other kinds of data to state biologists to monitor herd health and population structure. I know that to many, the idea of killing for conservation sounds hypocritical. Many look at trophy hunting in Africa and assume that it applies to North American wildlife too. However, American wildlife management is strictly regulated by science and not demand. When we talk about stewardship, we must consider the alternative, that's development. Hunters value wild places and have a vested interest in protecting them. Hunting ensures that these areas remain forests, wetlands, and prairies rather than becoming non-natural developments. Furthermore, hunting provides a sustainable, organic, and free-range alternative to factory farm food, reinforcing a deep connection to the cycle of life that is often lost in modern society. In conclusion, supporting hunting is not anti-conservation. It's pro-conservation. It is a proven, effective, and scientific approach to maintaining the biodiversity and beauty of our nation. I ask that you recognize the whole role of a hunter as a protector of the outdoors. The next time you see a herd of deer or hear a wild turkey in the woods, know that their presence is thanks to the hunters who paid for their management, studied their behavior, and protected their habitat. Let's continue to support policies that keep the wild in American wildlife, a goal that is best achieved when we embrace hunting as a cornerstone of conservation.